50 years, marijuana has gone from being a drug stigmatized by hippies to being the staple drug of my generation. Cannabis has worked its way into sports, medicine, social media, and many other aspects of life. With the recent uptake of consumption, there have been rapid developments in the means of consumption. Now you can smoke weed, eat weed, vape weed, vaporize concentration with a needle, ingest it with pills, absorb it with lotions and oils, take it through suppositories, and countless other ways. However, one of the fastest growing means are dab pens. Dab pens look very similar to e-cigarettes or vapes. And these cartridges contain a shatter, typically distillate, that holds extremely high concentrations of THC, the main psychoactive chemical in the devil's lettuce. The main reason these pens caught on so quickly is because of their low profile use. The devices come with minimal smoke, virtually no odor, and are small enough to fit in one's pocket, allowing them to be used whenever, and in many cases, prompts the user to use them constantly. This makes it the best dope delivery device available to high school students. Finally, the main problem surrounding these dab pens is the lack of regulations surrounding them. Many different brands have been found to include pesticides or pesties in their dabs, as well as other supplement ingredients. In all of these cases, the packages did not indicate that the sativa syrup the students were about to inhale contained these synthetic ingredients. Part 2. The chemistry behind the kush. We all know that doobies get you high, but very few know how the drug works chemically. In order to find this out, I went to hashish expert Dr. Anita Spliff. So why do people get high when they smoke weed?
People get high from the THC in the bud. This chemical makes its way into your bloodstream and eventually to your brain. From there, it will latch on to your cannabinoid receptors. When these receptors get latched onto, they trigger the release of dopamine into your brain, which is what gives you the euphoric feeling in your high.
So it's like the THC is scumming a ride off your bloodstream, but smokes everyone up at the end?
It's exactly like that.
So is that all really happening?
That's just the beginning of things. Because the huge release of dopamine inside your brain, you are left with a chemical imbalance inside your brain. This can lead to poor decision making, mood swings, and vibes that are just all over off.
So it's like the flower partied at your house but didn't stay to clean up.
It's exactly like the flower didn't even send a text.
Wow. So how are dabs different from regular broccoli?
The most prominent difference is in the THC levels. In regular dank, there's about 10 to 20% THC concentration. In dabs, however, there will be anywhere from 60 to 95% THC concentration.
So then how does that impact the user?
Well, because there will be more THC per toke, causing your cannabinoid receptor to fill up and become backed up for longer, releasing more dopamine, causing a larger imbalance in your brain. This imbalance can lead to depression with a very strong negativity bias, causing a person to spiral into a hole very quickly.
So it's like the deep stole your whole stash and dipped. Your whole stash of dopamine, that is. After my discussion with Dr. Spliff, I had to do some real soul searching. I had no idea that the devil's lettuce wasn't as heavenly as everyone said it was. I had been lied to. The Snapchat stories, the Instagram ads, even the public influencers had lied to me. It was after this interview that I had to take a break and disconnect myself from the project for a while to get my head straight. It had been about 3 months since my interview with Dr. Anita Spliff when a classmate of mine had an episode where he greened out at school. He was ripping a dab cart in the bathroom, and when he left, he collapsed, fell into the garbage can, and sent trash flying everywhere. He came to a moment later and sprinted out of the bathroom. He began to run away, but soon had to vomit. He paused to vomit and then proceeded to run away, however, slipped in his own bile moments later and tumbled down the stairs. He was unconscious when he reached the bottom of the stairs, however, when he awoke he was met with a 3-day suspension, a 2-night hospital stay, and nearly a felony charge if he wasn't a minor. I knew I had to find out the truth about these pens. Part 3. The User. Through my research, I have peered over countless scientific studies, testimonies, forums, chat rooms, and have even talked to experts. However, in all this gathering of knowledge, I realized I had left out one of the most important factors of the equation: the user. I figured that the only way to truly understand why these kids are using the liquefied Lechuga was to ask them myself. I've set up an interview with a freshman who frequently uses the Amber Acapulco Gold. He's asked to remain anonymous, so I'm distorting his voice. However, he has also asked for his face to be blurred for some reason. Hey, I'm Tom. Nice to meet you.
Aside.
I found it can be easiest to just jump into these things, so do you mind if we start?
Bet.
How often would you say you use the carts?
It's every day, bro.
And how long have you been using them?
I started back in 8th grade. Before then, I would chop bong with my brother and his boys all the time, though. Like, I've basically been burning since I was born. You know what I mean?
I have literally not the slightest clue of what you mean.
I've been ripping forever, bro.
At this point, asked to step into the bathroom of the coffee house we were in to rip his pen. I used this time to search up some terms on Urban Dictionary. I learned that burn means to insult someone, chop is a South African term for a dimmer person, and rip is when you take songs off a CD and convert them into an MP3 file. When he returned, we resumed the interview. Do your parents know you use the wax pens?
They've caught me before, but I just told them that I wasn't going to stop, regardless of what they do.
And how did they respond to that?
Well, I remember Mom cried, but she's always crying. She's so annoying like that.
Well, I just have one final question for you. Why do you use the carts?
Flat, bro. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, you just gotta try, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
My interview with had me thinking. I had been investigating a drug that I had no experience with. I hadn't had any experience with any drugs for that matter. I had decided that if I really wanted to keep my credit as an investigative journalist, then I would have to fully immerse myself in the story. The next day I headed off to school on a mission. I would rip the scarlet shatter that sends people to the stars. When I arrived at school, I immediately went to what is referred to as the trap bathroom. When I walked in, I was met with 10 pairs of slightly red freshman eyes. I didn't want to seem nervous because I was worried they'd think I was a narc, so I went to the urinal and kept to my own. When I was finished, I walked to the sink, washed my hands for the required 30 seconds, and then I made my move. Can I rip your weed? I didn't get a response. He must have been too dabbed out. In fact, I think everyone in there was too dabbed out because no one would respond to me. I'd have to try again later. I decided that I would really have to seem like I was in the loop on the broccoli, so I made sure to practice before I went in there again between 3rd and 4th period. Hey man, can I use your jazz cabbage, bro? Come on, just a 2-4. They were still too dabbed out. I made one last attempt between 5th and 6th. Yo man, can I cop your deeps? I'm feeling so hard on, bro.
Yeah, sure, bro.
I was in. He handed me the device and I stepped into the stall. I took a moment to observe the device. It was a slender silver rod with a small button on the side and a little canister with amber liquid inside. How could something so small get you so messed up, I thought. However, the time for thinking was over, and I knew that it was now or never. I put the cartridge to my lips and began to inhale. When I stepped out of the stall, I began to feel a little fuzzy. I figured it was the sticky icky. I handed the pen back, but on my way out, the fuzziness became a haze, and before I knew it, I had passed out, fallen into the trash can, and had sent garbage all over. When I came to, I was in the nurse's office. There stood my principal, my police liaison, and my mother, all of whom were scowling at me. I came clean about what I was doing and told them that it was for a podcast about the electronic doobies. I saw my mom's face get beet red with pride when I told her that. The school gave me a 1-day suspension with no other repercussions because it was my first offense. I wanted to pursue the story further. However, the school said that it was time for it to come to an end. I had learned a lot about marijuana and dab carts, however, I'm still not ready to come to a conclusion. The fact is, we really don't know whether they are good or bad until we can research the drug much further. The only conclusion that I can come to now is that the water is so murky, no one can say for sure.